Let's talk about rancidity. Now, what is the meaning of rancidity? The process of slow oxidation. So, it is a process of slow oxidation of oil and fat present in the food, right? Resulting in the change of smell and taste in them. That is called rancidity. So, rancidity is basically it is a phenomenon where what we see that a bad smell or some kind of smell is coming out from the food. It is because of the slow oxidation of oil and fat which is present inside the food. Okay, so it is a slow deterioration of food, you can say like that. So rancidity of food can be prevented. It can be prevented by keeping the food material at right container and tight container. So airtight container can be the container where the food can be kept. So we need to prevent the contact between the air and the food. The next thing is refrigeration. That is, refrigerators were used in homes that we already know. So refrigerations of cooked food at low temperature. So it is a place where we kept the food in low temperature that we already know. So low temperature generally deactivate all the enzymes present over the food and coming from the other sources. So ultimately those enzymes were deactivated at low temperature. That's why this kind of oxidation is not possible. Packing of food items like potato chips in packets, you can say like that, so which contains nitrogen gas. So packing of food items in a packet, you can say, which contains nitrogen gas. For example, the potato chips were kept in such kind of packets where nitrogen gas is present instead of air. So because nitrogen gas act as a protector, it does not react with the food, but if oxygen is present, that can react with the food. So we are keeping nitrogen gas there instead of oxygen and any other gas because they can react with the food, right? Now avoid keeping the cooked food and materials in direct contact with air. So anyhow we will need to prevent the attachment or the contact with the food and air, right? So by adding antioxidant is these are the compounds which actually prevent the oxidation of food, like BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole. It is a chemical name, right? BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole. So this is one of the kind of antioxidant. Okay, so I guess you got the concept of rancidity. Let's talk about corrosion. So what is corrosion? The phenomenon in which metals are slowly eaten away by the reaction of air, water, chemicals present in the atmosphere is called corrosion. So what we know that if you kept any kind of metals, any kind of things in the air, in the contact with air, generally they change their color. Sometimes they becomes deteriorate and they can change their color. For example, the black coating on silver is one of the kind of corrosion where what we see the change in color, the white color becomes black, right? The green coating on copper, so we know that the copper has a different color, but if we kept the copper in regularly in contact with the air, it becomes green. So rusting of iron is very popular example of corrosion, because iron is coming in contact with air as well as with water. Now by applying paint on iron articles, rusting can be prevented. So we need to coat these iron articles, iron objects with some kind of coating, some kind of color material, right? So that generally detaches the contact with the air and ultimately this kind of oxidation is prevented. So this kind of corrosion will be prevented, right? So that's all about corrosion. So I guess you got the concept of corrosion and rancidity. So this is the end of this chapter. We have completed chapter 1. let's see you in the next video. So see you all in the next video. Thank you.